Hello, everyone. Welcome once again for another Tech Tuesday. I'm here today with Mark Taccolini, who is our CEO and founder, and Eduardo Bogo, who is an automation engineer. Like to thank everyone for coming once again. Just as a reminder, chat here on YouTube is available. So if you have any questions, do let us know. We'll answer at the end, but always good to have your feedback as well. I'll put in the link for our Discord as well, so you can connect with us there. So yeah, we'll get right into it. First, guys, thank you so much for being here once again. And our topic today is the unified namespace, which can be quite broad and big. Um, but really, we're going to show a little bit of why our tools around it are a little bit different, the key advantages, and take us dive into it. So, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. Uh, well, the reason we pick up the Unified Namespace team today is we have so many features around that. I can say that's one of the most flexible and powerful and complete environments to create both industrial automation applications, factory floor, edge, IoT applications, our platform in general, and the unified namespace is the core of those applications. So we decide to put an emphasis explaining that very important components. And this bold statement that I just said is not my own words. Eduardo, you cannot disclose the name of the company, but you can disclose how many months they spend evaluating products on that area that you had that conversation recently.
Yeah, it's great that the unified namespace is one of the pillars from. So basically, we have four pillars in frameworks. We understand like that, and the unified namespace can be the main one, I would say. So
Yeah, and people start to understand that. We recently there was a large oil and gas company that were supporting us. They spent many months looking for all kind of platforms on SCADA and IIoT, and on the end of the day, our ones was the selected. Is that right, Eduardo?
that's correct. I've been working in this project, and this customer thinks we are one of the main ones. So he can do the project very fast, importing and having the unified namespace as the center of that.
And it's good that you mentioned the four pillars because I will review briefly that organization so we understand what you cover. And that's probably a good idea to next other sections go through this organization here. But the way we organize our products, we divide the application four main pillars. Number one is the data foundation, where you define the data model, the structure, you put context on the data. And this is exactly what also is being known in the industry as the unified namespace. Data plus context, if you want a simple definition. Around that, we have all complete tools to do the industrial operations, alarms, storage, more than 100 connectivity devices to databases, protocols, cloud tools. Around that, we have a very powerful business operation module that you can create .NET and Python codes on the spot, embed that on the solution, and we finalize with a very complete, high-performance, real-time tool for dashboards, custom process diagrams, mobile displays. So when you organize your application, you go through those four pillars, and the tool to develop the application, which is this one, also reflects from top to down those four pillars. But to understand why our environment is so powerful on that context, I believe we should start by reviewing a basic concept of the real-time database. The site that I'm here is docs.tatsoft.com, is our main documentation sites. This platform overview in modules, those two sections, we explain all the concepts of the products. And one specific that I want to go now is on the technology foundation to explain why we have that's important. Because when we had that evaluation from the customer, that he did that very deep analysis on the market, he specifically told us, Eduardo, if I can remember correct, that we need to promote more the features we have.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that they only complain that we're a little shy. So let's try not to be shy and explain we are the most complete and powerful solution for Faculty 4 right now.
Mhm.
And when you go, it's always start with the core technologies. And in those core technologies, starting bottom up, it's the real-time tag database. The real-time tag database is the core of the application. Is a process called tserver.exe that loads the real-time definition of your application, and it's in memory and event driven. It means we can have very, very high speeds. What's the typical, in some project we work, Eduardo, how much you can go down on the scan cycle of the controllers?
We can basically do 500 milliseconds for most of the
That's the
devices.
default.
That's the default, yeah. And it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, and some applications, they even have to scale that down to 50 milliseconds, and they were able to do that also.
Mhm.
Of course, when it starts going lower than that, depends on the protocol also. But whatever you define scan rates of 100 milliseconds or 50, of course, many protocols, they are event driven. Our kernel database itself, we have resolution of 0.1 milliseconds. That's the resolution of our internal timestamps. And the speed of that communication bus is around 100 times what Eduardo described. We can, depend on the configuration, can do 1-2 million transitions per second here. That's way more high performance than the external protocols itself.
Yeah,
Because
from what I understand, Mark, is that it depends a lot on the device you have. So
Yes.
basically, the limitation could be around the device and not through the communication, the network.
Yes.
And but we also for some protocols we can have node connections, which you can have multiple connections in parallel, which can increase the speed of that. So yes.
And to know if your computer is fine-tuned to get most of the performance, this section is try to be both for new users and for advanced. So let's give some advanced information. In the design, the configuration tool, if you go to runtime diagnostics here in the designer, we have these performance tests. The performance tests, because nowadays we work a lot with virtual machines, it does some memory tests. In our documentation, explain detail what you're doing, but give you an idea if the location you put for that virtual machine is okay or not. Ideally, for large projects, you put a setup that gives you 300 milliseconds on these tests. My own virtual machine that I'm using now is giving me 600 milliseconds, but it's okay because it's not really, this VM is not running large applications, it's running only medium to small, at maximum medium-sized applications, because a key element in that system is how the system can handle memory allocation and access to memory. So we designed that performance test to give you that information. So if your system like mine is giving 500, 600 seconds, it's okay to software development, small to medium applications. For large applications, by large applications, I mean 200,000 tags, 500,000 tags. We have really some very large applications. You should set up a VM with a little more of resources. But going back to the points, the real-time database is that software bus that allow the data flow in between the many modules of the product. So we have these tags. So the tags, those variables, are the core of the unified namespace. I will explain a little bit what is the unified namespace, what you add in top of the real-time database. But the real-time database is the most internal components that we have all the values of your dynamic variables. And this is the fourth generation that we evolve that. Every 10 years, more or less, our technical group creates a new complete architecture where we advance that. Because this session is supposed to be short, I'm not going in all details of everything, but some highlights why that's more powerful. Number one, we allow complex data types and .NET data types. So previous generations, we have only integer, string, Boolean. In our case, we can have data time objects. We can have data table objects. We can have user data types with user data types, JSON objects, array, image files, collection. So our real-time kernel is sitting in top a very powerful set of data structures that also include, by the way, ability to do one-to-one mapping with SQL databases. So our types are supersets of the SQL databases. And we did very advanced optimizations with version 10.1 to give the maximum support on that. Okay. I will explain only one. Okay, for instance, what means lazy loading? It means when you have this data structure, we don't necessarily do the allocation of all variables and on the beginning of the application. We do that as the data is used, and we automatically track what data is being used. That capability allows this real-time database to be applied in the following areas. If your application runs on the factory floor, we are the #1 choice. I can guarantee you that. With our millisecond response and very high performance. That's our main arena. Then we do have very good tools to integrate with MES and ERP products. And to be clear to the people that are starting the work with us, we are not an ERP product or an MES product. We are mainly a factory product with very good connections with those two layers. Okay. Product-wise, there is an exception here that we have a partner that creates a very good MES systems, MES system in top of our application. So if you want full MES solution, we also have, through that partnership, a solution that is ready to deploy on that area. So those are the areas where this real-time database is most applied. And yes, of course, we have integration with ERP systems. And some of our solutions, they are very advanced roadmaps with ERP. By the way, giving us feedback, which kind of process or vertical industry you want specific information. Because I just realized that we'll do in a technical Tuesday, dive in sometimes in some specific solutions. And I can think many now that are very nice ERP integration for us to showcase here. The one we saw 2 weeks ago, Eduardo, remember in our Thursday meeting that Angie was showing. We need to invite Angie to here also.
To present a good solution. Yeah, I'll
You
make
were
a note
there.
of it.
Yeah, make a note, talk with Angie.
Yeah.
But ask Angie, instead of full 2 hours with all that thing he show us, he need to, but definitely that's when we need to do in the short term,
Nice.
that real case. Anyway, in top of the real database, now let's move from a real-time database to a unified namespace. What changes now that are going to put all those tags in context? So a very informal definition of unified namespace is the real-time data of your solution, but with the context of that data. And one more thing, the term unified namespace in general, when Walker Reynolds use, or it's in general applies to the entire company information. In our case, this is usually the context of one solution or one project that can be anything from a single machine or a production line or a factory. But our product allows you to create what you call the edge namespace or the local namespace. It allows you to define that connection with the process and also the dynamic connection with external. So when you put your data in context, we have the unified namespace. And one addition that we have right away are that we extend that with our built-in namespaces. So how you can define an easy way to the users, Eduardo, are those built-in namespaces?
Okay, I just want to say that I work in a recent project where the customer had like raw data in a Pi server, and we know that sometimes when it comes from the PLC or someplace like that, the data doesn't mean anything. So it can be like JK7, like it doesn't mean anything for the user. So when we bring it into frameworks, we can give a name to that, like temperature. And then we can also allocate that in a tree that makes sense for you. So just like we have here, in the PLC, the flow rate could be like J7 something. And then here it means something, it means flow rate. So I think this is one of the biggest advantage of bringing data into frameworks. And now you know what it is. So
you put that data in context.
Yeah, put that data in context.
Exactly. And additionally, we add your own data automatically out of the box, and that's very exclusive to our products. All the other standard information you may want for your system. So what is the status of your server computer? What's the name of the solution that you are running? If you are using online configuration, which modules you have loaded, information about your licensing, information about each client computer, the performance of each station, your alarm engine, if your alarm engine is running, and how many alarm groups or how you have in this solution. what is the status of any alarm group, all those properties about your entire execution is also an automated extension of the unified namespace. So another important feature that we have are this automated enrichment of data, where we have this section here, that's your data in context, as Eduardo described, plus all the modules are also available on the same unified namespace. So we have a lot to show, so I don't will spend too much on any of those sessions, but I will just do one simple example. In general, in most platforms, you have to call API toolkits and start to do lots of scripting when you need to get for more advanced information. In our package, we have those namespaces, and we also have the IntelliSense feature to go there. So when you start typing, you see all the built-in namespaces that we have, the ones you created and the ones that are built-in. So as you navigate here, if you want to go to your alarm groups, you have right away all the alarm groups you have on that application. And if you want to know some information about that specific objects, everything in our platform is object-oriented. You have access to all properties. So even with zero training, very likely total count means the total alarms of the warning alarm group. That's very self-explanatory. That allows us to manage a large amount of context information about the execution of the application itself. Good. What next, Eduardo? Remind me what we show there next.
Maybe the data types or tag provider.
Yeah, that would be
The user types.
two good ones. When you are building your environment, you create this asset tree in any way you want, okay? Of course, there are many applications that you create that following the SP95 specification. You can create following some standard, but what's really important is you have complete freedom to create the nodes in any way you want. In this example here, we create this structure, and here we put 4 variables inside each. And those types, when you create, can be those very large set of basic data types, like tables, timers, or as Eduardo mentioned, can be user types. For instance, in this application, we created a user type called labeling machine, and the user types are defined here on the environment. So you can create your own definition. They also call that UGTs. Many projects have the concept of UGT, but I should believe ours is more powerful because they can be three-dimensional arrays. Each type here can be a very advanced data type. We can put data types inside data types, so you can have a very powerful structure. So when you define your assets tree, you have two concepts here. You have the concept folders that can have individual tags. In that case, each element is one value, or you can have arrays, or you have data or assets or machines that are already a data structure. Like in this case, I created here this tag that instead of having one value is a group of values. And you can draw inside that group of values. I'm showing only the configuration. I'm not running the solution. I'm not showing connection with real values because I want to focus on the concept of unified namespace itself. But of course, we can do very easily put that in place, the runtime mode, but I'll not do that today because I want to focus here. But essentially, in this application, you define that context, and that context we can very easily map to the 100 plus protocols that we have out of the box. But sometimes the unified namespace, the data is not defined here. Sometimes you do the applications that the governance is outside the system. And in fact, one of those two demos, I believe, was created by you and Philip. We give an example of that. I believe it's the solar panels, the one that we created, Eduardo, to show the external governance with tag provider. I think it was this one.
Yeah.
So since you are the one that did original, tell the users how we start this. Or let's do an example from scratch. Why not? So I'm going to create a new solution. And in this new solution, I will show another example on how you can extend the unified namespace where the tags are not defined inside your own platform. We need to do a simple dynamic connection with external data. Okay. So you guide me here, Eduardo.
Okay. Do you have the MQTT broker running?
No, I don't. So let's do that.
We can do that. Yeah. So can you go please in Data Explorer?
Perfect. Data Explorer is where we have lots of tools for MQTT, OPC, PLC, and SQL. And another reason we are really the number one for defining space applications, it's very common in this architecture to use the protocol MQTT. To be clear, it's not necessary. Defining space is a concept you can apply with any protocol. But MQTT is one protocol that's very suitable to that application. And as Eduardo was pointing out, we have a built-in broker that you deploy. So when you are doing edge applications, you can very easily just have that broker running right away. When you are developing applications, a huge time saving, and also in production, especially edge applications, small applications, can be very handy to be a MQTT broker also. By the way, we are also an OPC way server. But anyway, let's stay on MQTT. Next, I have a broker running here.
So now we need some data to populate in the broker. And for that, we also have the MQTT Publisher Simulator, which will simulate like solar panel values. And we will see that in the tree there. Oh, yeah, that's there.
And we have a XML configuration file that you can customize that model. Is that right? Yeah. So by default, our simulator publishes solar panel data, but you can customize how you do that. Okay. Now we have another Tatsoft framework's unique feature. Because in most of the SCADAs, what they call a tag provider, we are going to select which variables you want to use in your application and map those variables to local tags in the application. You do that mapping, there are different ways to do, but you need to define in other products a tag provider doing that map. In our case, we can do that, of course. So we can expose that data in our unified namespace as tags, like traditional products, or we have this advanced feature that we can create a tag provider service. A tag provider service is the name service is it goes beyond the traditional mapping and creates a tag discovery service to that system. So when you have my MQTT connection, we created automatically using that wizards, we can have a tag discovery service connected with that system. It allows us, when defining our model, if I'm going to create, for instance, a folder called Europe to show my solar panel data inside Europe, I can insert a link to my tag provider. And as you can see here, the system is automatically expanding based whatever I have in the external data. So I can pick up any initial points. I can pick up data from the panel, or I can start from the switches. So I added to my unified namespace under Europe will automatically populate all the switches, and you see here the values from the simulator. So this part of the unified namespace is fully dynamic, based on the external data. So this concept that you can very easily define some local unified namespace. In this local unified namespace, you are creating tags that are the names are defined here, and you can also have the ones that are dynamic.
Mark, I think it would be nice to show the object browser so we can show how to access the, like, how do you read from directly from there, so you can have the path. And then, so can you go in tools and object browser, please?
Yes, let's go on that. I have the shortcuts here also. The object selection. I think it was this one you're mentioning, Eduardo?
Yeah. Now expand
you
the
can
tree
go
and
through run diagnostic tools, or we can also go to these shortcuts in the toolbar. So here is your unified namespace now, and we will have some tags defined in the roots that are not, you're not putting in specific folder, and we have the ones that are dynamically expanded. And I believe what Eduardo was showing, you want to show that, Eduardo, is that right?
Yes, the path. You have the copy button up there in this object browser screen, and then you can use this path to access the value from the connection in basically any place in the software.
Exactly. A very important point. Here, this tree up to the final node is the full path of that specific variable. And as he pointed out, this syntax here is how you can access that in the application. So you can do through this object browser, or you can drag drop direct on the display. But I like also this view to explain the concepts. So going back to my example that I just did, that we are showing here some additional data. We can, oops, I put on the label. I want to put on the value. Okay. Now here is how I can access that data in my application. And to define this connection here, okay, we have a few options to do. We can do the copy paste as we did. We can click in this button to browse directly, or you can also go here on the right side, drag tags to display. You can open your data search for your data here, and you can drag drop to the display. And when you drag drop, you can select if you be like a text box or how you want to see that data using the many visual tools that we have. And by the way, even after the data is displayed here, we can go to any data and replace how is the UI of that. But I need to stop because today is about infinite space, not drawing tool. It's very tempting to start.
We'll do one on drawing tools soon, I promise.
Yeah,
But
let's go back. But what's important that this asset here, this path, does not need to be a string. Can be a tag, can be a math expression. So we can do very advanced applications just by accessing assets through variables or through math expressions. It opens a huge amount of flexibility to your application, just simple abilities here. Good. So there is more to talk about in namespace. Will be the unified namespace also allow us to do integration with third-party products. We'll do either next month or January. We'll see the agenda showing that when you are on the unified namespace, adding some links, I'm searching data from a tag provider, or I'm creating a new tag provider service. That tag provider service has many types of connectors. In this application, I'm showing the connectors that applies mainly to the unified namespace model. But we also have tag providers that extend the functionality for the historian tools. Eduardo was just doing the final test release our Pi, Tatsoft Pi provider. So when you extend our unified namespace model, you can extend through data, through protocols, or you can extend to add additional historian tools. We have our built-in SQL historian, but your applications, additionally to our built-in SQL, you can use timescale GB, you can use GE, you can use Pi. And we also will do in 1-2 month stops, and also a presentation with external products even, doing the integration with Sorba AI for analytics. So the tag providers extend not only to protocols, but also with third-party products and third-party historian tools, more specifically. I think that's a reasonable view. Help me here, Eduardo. Is there any other final comments so we keep in our target time?
No, I think we are great.
Good.
I think I would just mention that when you are building all of that data, you can have both. So, right, you have part of your data that's connected to a tag provider and dynamically updated, and also things you've created on the software directly, just to make that clear. It's
Yes.
really best of both worlds.
That's really a very key concept, that we have that combination here, as I'm showing, the local data and the data. And what's most important, when I'm using the application, it's all data, they're the same.
Yes.
So on the scripts, on the reports, on the displays, on the alarms, on the historian, all data is unified namespace data. That original data source is transparent for the application.
Perfect.
And when that data is using inside our own products, is very easy, as I did explain. You just put that syntax assets and the full assets name, or if it's a local tag, we can also use this syntax here to go through the properties of the tag. But what about external applications? I think it would be a good wrap up. How external applications can access data from our software not using our modules. That will be also another Technical Tuesday. I'll just highlight some examples. When you run the application, you can define switching to advanced settings that you publish that application to a MQTT broker, our built-in broker. So I can expose our data to any application through MQTT protocol with one checkbox. We also have an advanced data hub service. We also can expose data with one mouse click as an OPC server. And finally, we have the .NET and web APIs. So external applications written C#, Python, any language, or through even web REST APIs can do requests to get access of our real-time data. And you have full control of that because all tags are defined here. You also have them visible here. So any change that you do here on this table, it will reflect on the tree. So you have two ways to manage that unified namespace. The table format is very useful for large applications. You can copy and paste from Excel, and you see I just created one more tag under this folder. So when I go back to asset view, that tag's there. So the ability also very unique that I was almost forgotten to see the asset model also not only see but add in that table format is very important, especially when I'm using some custom properties. For instance, visibility, domain defines if the data is several clients or client sites, very advanced feature. Visibility, for instance, by default is protected, means those variables, the external applications you're able to read, but not write. That's the default mode when you create. Because we have all those communication APIs, we follow one security principle that don't allow them to write to you by default. So if I want to make those three variables accessible for external applications, not internal, of course, you can access, but for external applications, I'll have to change that profile to public. Now, those variables are reads and writes. And for more even advanced scenarios, we can apply securities at the tag level. So I will not go there today, but keep in mind you have even that extra layer of protection when expose your data. Good. One little teaser for future features. It's a good way to end. Any final comments, Eduardo?
No.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Isabella?
I got a couple. Yeah, no, I thought that was great. Kind of there are a lot of things we can cover when it comes to unified namespace, but I think this was a good overall picture. I think the key aspect of it is really centralizing and unifying your data. And the key thing is that then you can use it anywhere in our software. So thanks for that, Mark. We do have a question here, and I encourage anyone else who does have a question to kind of throw it here on chat. But it was asking about our MES partner, and if you can provide a little bit about that solution, if they target any food beverage process industry specifically, and it definitely does.
Yeah, I think that would be really great, and probably a process that has that MES application is definitely one that you should showcase here also, Isabella.
On applications, yeah. If you go to partners,
definitely should be one. And if you go to our partners, we are showcasing some examples of applications creating top of our platform for electrical SCADA, drilling, emissions compliance. and this one on MES. This solution called Core M is essentially a very complete MES product for the company NS3 that it's an out-of-the-box solution with minimal engineering to customize to each line. I don't have much screens right away to show other than this one, but I have this one that's a good list of functionalities.
Yeah.
So the entire OE calculation, it's already built in the database. Don't need to do any programming to do that OE calculation. And it's not only the basic KPIs of the OE. You can define the reason codes. You can define targets. You can correct data with manual entry. You can split reasons in between two areas. It's a very it's not our OE demo that we have in our website. Many people know we have a little basic OEP demo that do the calculation of the 3 KPIs. That's not it. That's the full the full concept with all those reports. It also has the tools to easily do the setup, your machine line for production, downtime, waste, which batch you're producing, escalation of alarms in events, e-signatures to approval on key work order start, stop, and a good set of predefined reports and dashboards to show the production, downtime, qualities, work orders, reason codes, and they already deploy that in many industries. And industries that you asked about food and beverage, because those are 2 of the 3 main sectors with that is applied. They have lots of application in food, many application in beverage, and they also have some nice applications in discrete manufacturing.
Nice.
And in fact, if you go to customers, we are doing a live recording, but don't hold me responsible if I say something wrong now, because I'm doing by memory. But I believe in those companies here, I believe 3M has that MES system. Perhaps also Nestlé has that. And some of those companies that we see here are not, after all, put much more risk saying which one has which system. But some of those, they do have that in production. They did a solution with previous release 9.2, and now they just deployed integration with 10.1. So It's a very good solution. I like that a lot.
Awesome. And Dan has a couple of questions regarding like the connection with AI. I'll read it for you. It's on the screen as well. I feel like the plan is missing there. Do you plan to focus in the future for enabler plan GPT, like chat interfaces for plan teams and 99% availability goals? And he put in like an example. So like a user asks, why is line 3 vibrating abnormally? And they get a breakdown.
Yes, we are working right now with a partner company, but I will not spoil the presentation because we are working on integration right now.
Yeah.
And that presentation should be in between probably 4 to 8 weeks from now. This partner has created exactly that. He created a additional component that will be here on the viewer. That is a chat bot area that connects to the MES system to reply that kind of analysis.
Nice.
So keep the watch. That presentation is come up soon.
Yeah, I'll let you know, Dan, as soon as we got it. And there's a real question here as well. I don't think it relates to it, just to put the complete thing, which is IoT SCADA integration, pulling real-time edge data from IoT centers, and using ML those.
Well, we have good news on that. First one, We have out of the box is bottom line MLDM that we do distribution of the products. And in our documentation sites also, if you go to tutorials, under tutorials, you see technology learning tutorial. Under technological learning tutorial, you have MLNet tutorial. That will be your starting point. This ML.tutorial explain what we did inside this application here called bottom line ML demo, that we do a very, very simple anomaly detection algorithm. Because to those very simple basic algorithms, if you go to our scripting module, if you go here to classes, and you create a new class, you see we can include the core ML.NET namespace to your application. Then it's just a matter to get to the specific examples you need, because all the core reference for the ML.NET we include by default. And that tutorial has one explanation specifically about anomaly detection.
Yeah.
But to be clear, ML is very large, not necessarily complex, but feature-rich library. Yeah. So depending on the algorithm you are going to do, you may have to include new namespaces. And amazing coincidence, we have a training about that happening next week. If you can use this question, Isabella, to a little information promotion of the training section we'll be doing next week.
Yeah, no, I'll organize and I'll let you know.
Yeah, but essentially, I will help you. Next week, we are going to have a training.
No, just because I'm not sure if it's going to be open yet.
Perhaps it's already.
It's for, okay, we're doing it live on our office.
Probably we don't have more spots available.
Yeah,
so I'll do the promotion anyway, because we can do another round with if
I
more
want to
people
do an
want to
online
know.
one around it now.
Yeah, but the training that we're doing that I just learned we don't have any more spots open. I'll put anyway here what they are the the 4 topics. We'll do a deep dive on the file namespace. We'll do a little deeper on the ML.NET, so in how to put additional examples. We'll dive a little bit deep on MCP tooling. And we also do a review, not a train, but a review, some concept around graphics like dashboards, canvas, responsive, how to customize to mobile. We review some advanced graph configurations. And I believe we had one more here, Isabella. Or those are the only 4?
No, those are the big ones. No, those are the big topics.
Yeah. So if you are willing to go deep dive in those topics, and let us know, because we include for the next time we do this specific advanced training session.
Perfect. And just one last question here as well. If there's a batching solution that can be used with frameworks, preferably be one that is 88 compliant. And I do know we have a lot of information.
That one, Isabella, I will ask you to talk with NS3 and follow up directly with him. Perfect. Because I know there are some batch functionalities on the Core M. I'm not just feel comfortable to tell on the spot how deep that functionality is. So get the information, reply specifically with the Core M group.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we do have it, and for sure compliant with the different types of specific determinations.
Standards. Yeah, on those standards, what we list on our website is only the ones that are out of the box in the products, not that are achieved through partnering with other companies. So what Isabella was mentioning on those standards and compliance, those that are listed here are the ones we are compliant out of the box.
Yes.
Okay. The batch one is not here, but does not mean that we cannot deploy. It means that requires those additional partner application layers.
For sure. If you are interested and want to learn more in general about our partners or anything, you can join our Discord, connect with us there. And I will actually take this moment as well to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, here on YouTube. It always helps, and you can be notified of new videos. Leave your like,
And
share
click
as
the
well.
like.
Yeah, leave your like for this video and any other Tech Tuesdays. We always appreciate it, and it helps our job. I am putting in the Discord as well on chat, so feel free to join us there. Follow up with us. We have our engineering, our support team always keeps an eye out, and we'll be there. We are almost at the hour, and I do want to end this one on time. So I actually like to thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for the questions. Everyone who participated. I'll let you guys know soon our next topic and when you guys can see that. But yeah, thank you. Any last thoughts, Mark and Eduardo, before I finish
No,
here?
thank you all.
Thank you.
So thank you. Appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Once.